Exactly.
Okay, we got 2 minutes, 1 minute, and we'll get started, folks. Welcome tonight. Good to see you here. We're always excited when we have visitors. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so just welcome everybody to our 2025 budget public hearing. So this is the sort of the final presentation. I think we're close. As always, I'd like to start off to just acknowledge that tonight we're gathered on Treaty 5 territory, which is the ancestral lands of our friends, the Opaskwayak Cree Nation, as well as many other Indigenous people, and as well as the Red River and the homeland for the Red River Métis. With that, somebody should have a resolution when we call the meeting to order.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen, resolved that, Councillor Atkins. Seizure word. Move that the agenda be adopted as presented, that being the 2025 budget.
Budget, yeah. Any questions? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? We got 6 tonight, right? Five, right, sorry. 5-0-3. Okay, so just before we get started, so this the purpose of this meeting is to hear from our fine citizens or any other representation from the public regarding the 2025 budget hearing. But I also just wanted to start off as to just, thank everybody for being here tonight. We do appreciate it. But I also would like to take a couple of minutes just to thank our administration. I know there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes to put this together, and they get a lot of different directions. So we do appreciate the work, and you'll see in the budget today, it's their focus on that continuous improvement that helped created this budget, not only for us to continue to improve, but also to be fiscally responsible and forward looking. So you'll see some of the shared priorities in this budget tonight, and I wrote myself a few notes. So you'll see things around enhancing public and employee safety with the investment into the fire department, some school speed signs, the pool dehumidifier, camera systems, and and our continued support of the community safety officers program. You'll also see some investment in infrastructure. So we're talking about the $1.5 million or thereabout in paving. We have a long-term commitment. We have a very great museum, and there's a significant investment of about $300,000 into completing phase 1 of that upgrade. And also our airport. So our airport's an important asset to our community and a pillar that we're going to, put forward about $5 million. And keep in mind, some of this stuff is grant dependent, but it is things that we're trying to move forward. Another, pillar of this budget is around community pride and services. So, we've done some work where we purchased the right equipment to be able to maintain parks by adding another rotary mower. We've got skid steers that were purchased that have all the attachments that will help us through the winter with snow blowing on corners that people talk, but also installing some of the things that we need within the community. And then other things that, talking about decorations, downtown garbage cans, holiday decorations, and those things. And also I just wanted to highlight, and you'll see in the presentations that, we've had a significant increase in the amount of grants that we've issued this year around, more than $100,000. So moving our grants from 617,000 to 722,000. And the final thing is, is around economic development. There's been a significant bump up in the money or the funds going to the economic development group and even within our own budget. And that's really talking about how do we market our company, our community, but also how we can be ready for opportunities when we're there. Because one of the things is when the opportunity is there, we've got to be able to jump on it and take it and not say, well, we need 2 years to be ready for you. So, I believe there's some good investment to shine a light on that to make it a little bit better. And just finally, like I said, keep in mind that some of these initiatives do depend on grants and other donations, but we're hoping that, we get what we apply for and we can move everything forward in 2025. And we all know there's all sorts of challenges, but I think this budget, and I believe council, I'm speaking for council, but, is moving us in the right direction. We're working together with our external agencies. We're staying accountable for the things that we're promising, and we really are working hard to, and when I say we, the entire, not just council, but the administration and a lot of our community members and organizations are really working hard to make a stronger future for the Pawn area. So appreciate everything that's been done, and I look forward to the presentation. And Councillor Hopper.
We just echo everything you said. Significant investments in the community, and our overall assessment in the community went up a bit last year, which enabled us to do the extra things with I think very little. I think there isn't any tax increase compared to last year. Is it 0.1%, if anything? So really, any ratepayers are not really going to notice any significant tax increase. So we've done all that. So I echo the mayor's comments. Responsible budget. And Laura, it was actually pretty easy. We never changed our mind. I think we did. Occasionally. Injustice. Anyway, great job from the administration for all the work you've done on this. And that's all the problems.
Yeah, and we'll highlight that in the budget, but the tax increases are next to zero this year when it comes to municipal taxes. But I'll let Laura and her team sort of go through that, and then we can take some questions at the end from anybody that's interested. So over to you, Laura.
Thank you, Mayor Murphy, and hopefully you guys can see the presentation screen over there. All the slides will go through there, and if there's any questions, please feel free to interrupt me. And if I don't speak loud enough, which I've never actually been accused of, I'm a pretty loud person, but please let me know so that I can speak up for you. I'm kind of turned in the wrong direction.
And you're welcome to come up closer too if you.
Okay, so the purpose of taxation is so the town can pay the expenses associated with providing various community services. We're also responsible for collecting school taxes for both the province and Kelsey School Division. Tax bills are usually sent out around June or July of each year, and they're due August 31st. And any late payments are subject to a 1.25 monthly penalty. This slide provides information on how taxes are calculated. There's a link here that will bring you to the town's website, and it also outlines the process. So for the 2025 budget year, 1 mil would provide the town with $212,000 worth of revenue. And for the purpose of calculating your tax bill, 1 mil equals $1 per thousand of the assessed property value. Your assessed property value is determined by the Manitoba Assessment Services and is based on the property's market value. Portion taxed is 45% for residential properties and 65% for commercial properties. We provided a simplified example here for the purpose of showing how taxes are calculated. So for example, if you have a $100,000 assessed value home, you'll only be paying taxes on $45,000 of that assessment. And if you take this and divide it by 1,000, because again, the 1 mil equals $1 per thousand, it gives you a value of $45. In this case, we're using a mill rate of 10, so times by 10 would be $450. Hopefully that makes sense. Here we highlight the total assessed values in our community. And as you can see, values went up by about $10 million, which is 5.33% increase in overall assessed property values for our town. As the total assessed values increase in the community, is it not flipping there?
It's already.
Pardon? Oh, Trevor just joined. As the total assessed values increase in the community, our total expenses required to provide services are spread out.
So why is that important again?
Because that will either lower the mill rate, or if we need to increase expenses, it will allow it to remain the same.
So that investment, the more we get, the more investment, the more buildings, the more like new homes, apartment buildings, increases your overall assessed value of your community, which then reduces taxation or requirements for all of the businesses.
As long as services remain the same,
Yeah.
yes. So for the 2025 tax year, the residential mill rate will be going to 57.687 mills, which includes school taxes as well. So it's not just the general rate for the municipality, it's also the school taxes included in there. This creates tax revenue of just over $9.1 million. And it's an increase of 0.03% from 2024. I've provided just a outline of the last 5 years worth of tax revenues and mill rates for you to be able to see, and a comparison of the increase compared to the 2023 mill rate. Here we show the last 10 years worth of mill rates for our community. So in 2016, there was a significant decrease in our mill rate, and this was caused by a significant increase in total municipal assessment values. So the values increased by $29.8 million from 2015 to 2016. So it reduced that rate quite a bit. In 2020, there was also a small increase in assessed values, and we see that mill rate drop again. Some major projects that the town will strive to undertake in 2025 include the replacement of the pool dehumidifier, reassessment of the water treatment plant, phase 1 of the Sam Weller Museum redesign, airport electrical rehabilitation, and shave and pave projects throughout the town, along with various patching. A full list of the projects can be seen on page 13 of the financial plan, which is on our website and also attached to this meeting. But each manager will be touching on their projects later on in the presentation. I'm looking very fine. Determined to be admitted. Okay, so just moving on to revenues here. Our total revenues will be increasing in the 2025 year to 21.8 million compared to 15.8 million in 2024. The biggest increase is from project grants of $5.5 million. Other increases include tax revenue just over $500,000. We are budgeting a decrease in the airport fuel sales, and this can be difficult to project and is volatile due to the forest fires. We are also budgeting a decrease in interest earned due to the decrease in interest rates.
Unfortunately, we're probably doing pretty good on airport fuel sales today.
Yes.
It's an unfortunate benefit.
Education tax accounts for 28% of all tax revenues. I'm sure. And we do not set the rate for this, and we have no control over it. The education tax has increased by just over $94,000.
So just for people that understand that the municipality collects the education levy based on what the education or the school division tells us what we need to collect. So we don't really, so when you look at overall of the taxation, that's that part of the pie. the town of La Pod doesn't have $9 million to do work.
Grant revenue received by the town accounts for about 38% of total revenue and will increase by 186% from 2024. The increase is mostly due to the Airport Capital Assistance Program, which will help fund the purchase of equipment and major rehabilitation work to the airside electrical in the amount of $4.8 million. Another $783,000 is provincial grant funds for capital projects being done by Kelsey Recreation for the pool dehumidifier, Centennial Park upgrade, and port rubberization. Other user fees are anticipated to decrease by 0.29% or just under $10,000 for 2025 from 2024. These account for 16% of the town's total revenues. Some items that have increased are the Kelsey Recreation revenue, which are projected to increase by $122,000 due to donations for capital projects. Protective service revenues, as the fire department has been experiencing increased call volumes and contracts have been renegotiated. Items that will see decreases include the airport fuel sales, as mentioned earlier, is projected to decrease about $100,000. Licenses and permits have been decreasing with the decrease in RCMP members and their ability to provide for fines. Revenues are projected to decrease 24% from $607,000 to $510,000 as interest rates slowly continue to decrease. So moving on to our expenses. Total municipal expenditures are projected to increase by 37% as well, from $15.8 million to $21.8 million in 2025. This is a $5.9 million increase. However, $5.5 million of this increase is capital expenditures related to the capital grant revenues as discussed earlier. We'll go through these in detail. Overall, general government services will increase 8% in 2025, and they make up 8% of total municipal expenses. Between legislative, administrative wages, and office, legal, and insurance, the budget is down by $3,000. So we'll talk about grants and sundry in detail. Grants make up 1% of total municipal expenses and will increase by 46% in 2025. Increase consists of contributions to the Tri-Community Foundation of $25,000, the animal shelter, which will increase by $7,000, rent in kind for $14,500, various cultural and arts programs of $21,500, and general grants, which have increased by $4,000. Here we provided a list of all the grants that are being provided to outside organizations, which Mayor Murphy touched on a bit earlier. Sundry expenses make up, pardon me, 2% of total municipal expenses and will increase by 42% in 2025. The increase is due to increased hydro and maintenance costs of the Civic Center, increased training for management staff, and an increase in outside contracts for organizational review. However, we're still going to continue to look for grants to cover a portion of that expense. Protective services make up 19% of the total expenses and will decrease by 6% from $4.5 million in 2024 to $4.2 million in 2025. Animal control, EMO, 911, and building inspection costs will see minimal increase. So we'll go through the RCMP and fire services in detail. And the public safety officer. Of that, RCMP costs make up 15% of total municipal expenditures. Actual costs came in quite a bit lower than budgeted last year, as the RCMP detachment has been having some recruitment challenges. something that is being actually seen across Canada right now. So as such, we've lowered our 2025 budget to reflect this. However, it will increase in the future as they overcome challenges and get the detachment up to its full complement to staff. Here we wanted to give the public an idea of the cost per resident for RCMP services. So if we net our crime prevention grant against the RCMP costs, the cost per resident is $425 per year based on the 21 census of 5,639 residents. The town's total fire department costs will increase by 42% from $477,000 in 2024 to $677,000 in 2025. These increases are attributed to repairs and maintenance of vehicles and equipment, increase in safety equipment for the firefighters, safety upgrades to the building, increase in training, and increase in wages as call volumes have been increasing. Tonight, our fire chief is unable to join us due to the forest fire that is in and around Saskatchewan and Rocky Lake area, so our CAO will speak to his department.
I would like to say a process is unable to hear today. So it's fighting the fire, and I hope that they'll be able to finish soon. Okay. I'm just going to give the highlights of what they have been able to achieve in the past 1 year. And this will be his first year of being a fire chief so far. In 2024, they were able to purchase the self-contained breathing apparatus, which is actually helping them to complete their work. And another big piece is they were able to do big things like the bylaw for fire prevention, and this has been a big one. So the third one is they were able to host the first annual support tournament, and in that tournament they were able to raise 5,000 to help someone in the department with health issue. Aside from there, they've been able to build a good relationship with OCN. This has been something that they've started a long time ago, and thanks to this current fire chief, they've been able to maintain that relationship. Another thing they were able to achieve is that they were able to purchase 2 new GI extractor, which is a good benefit in order to prevent cancer because of what they are exposing to in their work. The fire chief was able to attend the conference in Brandon, and that conference is called MAFC. In that conference, he was able to build a good relationship with other fire chiefs in the province. Because it's kind of new to him, it's the first time of him being a fire chief, was able to meet with other fire chiefs within the province and to learn from them. The second stand. Yeah, first it just takes a minute to come on back. The second part is about the capital projects. For 2025, we have a couple of capital projects planned to do for 2025, and the big one is in terms of host testing. Based on this report, they have not been able to do the host test in the past year. So this year they are having a host of NFPA 965. This is a required, something that they have to do in order to meet up with the standards specified back to them, and they have to meet certain standard of 300 PSI annually. In 2023, they had to borrow tester from Swan River, sorry. So, but in 2025, their plan is to be able to purchase that. Then another big project they are working on in 2025 is that they want to buy a dry gel. Presently, when they have their dry gel, after washing, they have to hang it on the hallway. at the current time, and they will spend a lot of time in drying that. So buying a GL dryer will really assist them to perform their work and to improve their operational process. Another one is a radio. They want to purchase of radio in order to ensure that every member on scene, they have access to radio for the safety of the firefighter as well as the public. There's no way that, then another thing is about the training process. In the past 1 year, we have more training than ever, and the reason being that we have more people that are coming as kind of volunteer to be able to introduce more training process. So because of that, they are going to have a training in the basement of fire, as well as the second story fire. So that's for that. Then there have been some challenges they have been facing. So in 2025, they lost about 3 members due to work-related. 4 out of 7 members have left for the summer, and assisting 3 new recruits require training to be able to use on fire ground. So they do not replace the experience we lost with the other 3. Like I said earlier, we've been able to have a good relationship with the OCN. The mutual aid agreement with OCN will be a big benefit to the triad community. So they are looking at a way of having a training together at least once every month to be able to understand how both departments operate. Then another one is to add new recruits. SOG require all recruits to obtain NFPA 1001 level training. This will provide basic knowledge recruitment for our members to do their job. So they will be able to finish up their course in May with testing down at MESC. That's in terms of the training. Then we are also planning to have a junior firefighter program in the future, and this has been done in the past years. So they are looking for a way of introducing the junior firefighter program. This will also help to get the high school talking with the kids. So that's for the initiative. So can you do the next slide, please? That should be so. I don't know.
So public safety services expenses make up 1% of our total municipal expenses and will increase by 35% from 2024 to 2025. This is mainly due to the fact that the program will be operating for 1 full year. Again, this manager is also fighting fires, so our CAO will report for his department.
As we all know, this council have been able to invest a lot in our community safety program. Presently, we have 3 community safety officers. 1 is the manager, and the other 2, they are the officers, and we've been able to invest in them. So we have 3 together. The equipment, they've been able to purchase the equipment for them. We have the patrol truck, and they also have the uniform. They have the office supply as well as the gadgets to be able to perform their work. If you notice this very well, you will be seeing our CSO staff driving around the town, looking after general well-being in terms of the homelessness, in terms of the garbage, in terms of making needles, so many things in our town, in terms of attending to even hospital sometimes when they call them. So they also attended a training in Brandon in order for them to be effective. There's a requirement by the provincial government that they have to do training. So they went to Assiniboine Community College in Brandon for a few weeks, about 4 or 5 weeks. So all of them, they were able to challenge the exam, and they made it. So they came back to be able to perform better in their career. So this will be their first year here, and we'll see how things go. So they are all satisfied as a community safety officer. So in terms of the patrol, they are not sitting down at the office. They always go around the city, the focus is not only the downtown, but the entire town. But they do go more to downtown because of the situation of things in order to improve the safety system of our community.
If I could just add on this one area, this is one area where mayor and council have reacted to a community request for downtown safety. And after a much lobbying with the provincial government, they did provide assistance for the first year of the, I'm not sure if anything's on the book for the second year, but they've been a great asset for general safety downtown. They've also helped the RCMP on numerous occasions on if there's a big fire or the fire department, or if there's issues with the police. So it's been working out really well, and hopefully we can enhance that even more.
Yeah, no, I would support that as well, councillors, that this is a program that's gonna grow in our community. And you can look across Canada, but especially across Manitoba, that municipalities are having to take on a lot more of that service requirement. I would expect that in the coming year and coming into next year that this program will grow even bigger.
Apart from helping the community, they also help with our RCMP. They support them as well. They help in training the mental health, first aid. They attend to so many programs in town. They help with the SHARP program. They help with the lodging. They help with patrolling of downtown. They help with so many things in town, apart from safety, cleaning, and other responsibilities as assigned to them. Currently, they are working in understanding our bylaw more so that that will improve how they do their work. They are looking at creating program in order to be more efficient in their job. Yep.
Recreation and cultural services make up 13% of total municipal expenses. These will increase by 7% from $2.7 million in 2024 to $2.8 million in 2025. Administration and special program expenses consist of things like day camps, summer programming, and often flow-through funding. This will increase by 10% due to the increase in staff and supplies for programming like day camp and gymnastics, increase in parks and playground supplies for downtown Flowers, as well as the annual staff wage increase. Community center expenses have increased 7% from 2024. These are due to increased insurance costs and utility costs, maintenance costs on the building and equipment, along with annual increase in staff wages. Swimming pool costs will increase by 6% from 2024. This is mainly due to the annual wage increases, along with increased repairs and maintenance costs of the pool. Arena costs will experience a 15% increase. This is due to regular annual wage increases, increased utility costs, along with increased costs for repairs and maintenance, and frequency required to maintain aging and building and equipment. Planned items in 2024 include replacement of the big heaters that are in the arena. The Zamboni needs an inspection and may need to be sent away, as well as some asbestos inventory regulation requirements for getting that all figured out. Our parks and playgrounds will experience a 16% increase in 2025. These increases include amounts for downtown Flowers that were previously covered under community enhancement last year, increased wages for maintenance of parks and green spaces, along with regular annual increases. And Joe Murray is still online?
I am here.
Excellent. I will turn it over to you to first talk about your 2024 accomplishments and highlights.
Thank you. First of all, my apologies that I can't be there in person. I'll do my best here to speak loudly so everyone can hear me. Hopefully it's loud enough for you guys. Okay, starting with our accomplishments and highlights in 2024. Our camera upgrades, we installed new hardware at our garage, wellness center, arena, and civic center. It's really helped to manage our assets. And it's definitely come in handy with both theft and misplaced items, identifying individuals for the RCMP. already at the wellness center. So the upgrade of the cameras and the quality of the video that has come through and the ability to just access it from anywhere has been really good for us. So that upgrade has been very beneficial to the safety of our community. One of the other projects we accomplished, the court floor refinishing, it was something that was much needed in order to keep our users safe on the court, while also adding aesthetically to the facility. Our old court floor was definitely in need. There was people slipping, falling a lot. There was some big gaps in between some of the boards, and that was all fixed in this project. At the Wellness Center, we also added a modern version of a sled called the Tank MX. This also helps with the longevity and maintenance of our court floor, as the old prowlers or sleds that used to be pushed on it would really pay a toll on that floor. We also added 2 new ellipticals in that project. They're very modern and add functionality that the old ellipticals do not. Our old ellipticals that were there from day one are on its way out. They're at the end of its life already. Another project that we started and finished halfway near the end of the fall last year, the Turf Line project. This was an initiative to improve our ballparks as well as our soccer field. But what it also does is it does free up a lot of our time now that we would usually spend painting those lines throughout the summer, throughout the spring, now giving our resources, our maintenance guys, our green team, a chance to keep up with the grass cutting and other jobs that they have to do. Right now,
Omar, just a curiosity, is that all done now, that turf line stuff?
no, so I was just going to get to that. So the ball diamonds, they are all done. And right now we've marked and we've marked out all the soccer fields. That started at the start of this week. And Lakeshore will be coming in to cut the sod. They have a special sod cutter for them to do that. And then we'll be placing the turf line in the soccer fields, both sides. So that should be hopefully done by next week. The next project here, the park seating project. So we ordered park seating and tables and picnic chairs. The forms for that were poured in the fall. And some of those actually got hand printed and foot printed. So we'll have a little bit of upkeep to do that before we install them this spring. But nothing out of the ordinary that we can't fix. Just some kids putting their handprints and footprints in them. So nothing we can't fix. We also added AEDs for the arena on both sides. So the curling rink and in the arena itself, in the rink side, we do have an AED in the lobby area, but with the blizzard and the palm iron and all the stuff going on in the arena, we didn't actually have one on site inside the rink. That's easier access than running all the way to the lobby. So we added another one of those and got a grant for that. Bottle filling stations were also added to the arena near the end of the year, as well as gooseneck taps for just the ease of bottle filling. Our old ones were leaking all the time. We'd fix them. They'd leak still. They'd be good for a while. They leak still. So we upgraded to these bottle filling stations. They save on plastic bottles, and they've been a hit. Really good for our facility. Just another upgrade that we need to continue doing to our arena to make it a lot more enjoyable.
Omar, it's Gary, that is a small item. The public might think it's a small item. What's the individual cost for each of those water stations?
Pardon me?
The individual cost for each of those water stations.
Geez, off the top of my head, I want to say they were roughly 3,000 or 4,000 each. We got 3. We installed 2, and 1 is going in the wellness center. When the other one, our wellness center water station is actually really good still, but it's once that one fails, we're gonna reinstall that one in the wellness center. But they have been a big help, and they've done a lot better than the old ones have.
Okay.
Moving on to the next slide. So our 2025 capital projects. One that's already complete, our wellness equipment. So we've added variations of safety bars to allow individuals who squat be more safe. Those with injuries or nagging ailments, it gives them more options to squat with weight while rehabbing their injuries. We've also added ski ergs, which not only suit our northern lifestyle and cross-country enthusiasts, but it also serves people with disabilities as a cardio machine, so they can also use that. It also serves to our group training that we do into our court floor. We often have classes for cardio or the cardio quickie, the lunchtime crunch time that run in circuits, and we have now a lot of available equipment that's movable, and we can move all that equipment into the gym just by one person grabbing it and rolling it right in and using it as a circuit training utility. So it's very versatile. We've added a lot of stuff here that have been really popular and really being used by all of our members. We've had a lot of good comments in the past couple of months with those units. Our basketball and tennis court rubberization that Laura spoke to earlier, we received a 100,000 grant from the province for that, and we've also applied for 30,000 from the Moffat Foundation. We haven't received that officially, but I'm hoping that that's going to go through. The basketball and tennis court rubberization also involves a pickleball area, which will probably be on the skate park side where the old skate park is. So once that equipment's taken out, and that's the idea of where the layout of the pickleball area will be.
Any timelines for that?
I don't have it right now. I know that we started a tender, and when we reviewed it, there was some issues with it. So I'm not sure if we're going tender or RFP with it, but we do have quite a few quotes going. So I can't speak to exactly when we're going to start, but we'd like to start here in the next couple of months once that tender is going. Our ball diamond upgrades. So Arena 1, we've like to have a new dugout, where an official dugout, just to give our players, our users, a proper dugout to protect them from the elements. We also want to look at replacing the infield with proper material to make it a lot more safe for our kids and adults that are using that part. This is just a big initiative that we started a couple years back, starting with the lighting, and now the dugouts and the infield, and just trying to pick away at that outdoor facility to improve it. One of the things that I don't have on here is the Centennial Park upgrade. That one is it's not on there just because it is grant dependent. We didn't receive the grant for that, but it's something that's still in the back burner. If we want to, maybe if we do get a grant for it in the future, it's still something that's on our plate that we'd like to do. But that's why that's not on here. Moving on to the challenges and initiatives. Grass cutting every year is a challenge. I thought we did a pretty good job of it last year, but we're always looking to improve, keeping up with that. And by all means, we did not keep up with it last year, but we did a better job than we have in the past, I thought. The turf line project plays into that. We'll be able to keep up with it more this year, considering that we don't have to spend as much time doing the lines, as I said earlier. Green team staff, we still have 5 this year. We were looking to add an additional one. The person that we were looking to hire, it fell through for them, so we don't have that 6th person where we had money for it in the budget. But not to say that we still can't hire that person. We just need to get the right person in there if that's possible. As far as volunteer groups, I started an initiative to have a volunteer group that helps facilitate keeping up with our outdoor rink, and I wanted to implement that kind of with our skate park too as well. What I had with the outdoor rink was the Blizzard and the Rotary and the Palm Miner chipping in to do that. We haven't got that running off the ground officially. I'd like to get someone to take the lead on that. That's not myself, and run with that, so that they can kind of manage just the slight light snowfalls while we can manage all the big snowfalls, and when it really builds up and getting the stuff off of the boards, which is not easy for an individual or even just a group of individuals to do it by hand. That's something we need to do with the machine. So it's just a collaborative effort to get the community involved and just assist with the maintenance of that while our maintenance guys are still doing the bulk of the work and the heavy lifting. Just moving on here through my notes, 1 second. With the cemetery, we've contracted a long-term retired employee to assist the lead for the spring and summer of 2025. We've also presented ideas for equipment that will help accomplish the improvement of our cemetery. Some of these pieces of equipment include a mini backhoe, a sea can for on-site storage. And to help add to the aesthetics of the cemetery, we're looking at upgrading the plot map to a more modern and visually satisfying look. I'll look to build that and send that off to Sound Innovations for them to print off and make that board sign look a lot better. We'll also be adding more pots and flowers to the entranceway to help with those aesthetics. With the blizzard, we're striving to work with the team to improve our facility, specifically the main lobby and bathroom areas. I haven't met with Rob about this. It's going to be a collaborative effort to do that, along with the high glass improvement that the Coach LaBrosse has highly requested. So we're looking to work with them. I haven't had that meeting yet. I'd like to wait till the end of the season before I do that, just as kind of everyone's in hockey mode right now and trying to get through these nationals. And I know Rob's been busy, but he's on the same page. I've touched base with him about it, so it's on the plate of mine and his to do. So we'll continue that conversation once our season's over.
Okay, Jomar?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, just back to the cemetery for a moment.
Yeah.
One couple of things that are happening. The staff.
Sorry, can you start over there? I just didn't hear that part.
The cemetery, I just wanted to go back to that for a moment.
Okay.
One of the things that staff have done, they've, as you mentioned, hired a retired employee to come back and help be the lead on that. But also we've refined our work practices out there. Last year, there was approximately $40,000, I believe, that was in the budget for the cemetery. This year, I think we're at $120,000. So it just indicates that the mayor and council's thought of the cemetery as a centerpiece of our community. And we're trying to keep it as a beautiful place to go and visit, of course. And that's why we made this significant improvements and investment in it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's important to mention. Thanks, Gary. We definitely want to make that a priority and make sure the community knows as well that we're taking the lead on trying to improve that space and taking initiative on doing that and carrying that out through the summer months here. So we have a good employee in our cemetery lead that works extremely hard, takes a lot of pride and effort and passion in that space, and he's had just a little bit of time to work with it, and now working with this new lead who used to be part of the town for several years and did that job. He'll only gain more experience to improve that space going forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Sorry, that's all for me, I think, Galar.
Thank you, Jomar.
No problem.
Okay, so moving on to the Soundwater Museum, the total museum costs make up 1% of municipal expenses and will decrease by 12% from $279,000 in 2024 to $246,000 in 2025. The decrease can be attributed to not having a full-time curator for the whole year, along with decreased program and utility costs. So our museum director will now give you an update on his department. If you'd like to come join us, please, Jackson. My apologies that it's such a huge delay. There you go.
Anyway, okay, so we'll go a bit faster. So first one, we had summer camps for kids. We returned Circle Weekly summer camps this past summer. We managed to do 6. This year we're looking to do a full 8, 1 a week for July and August. We have a new full-time position at the museum. So with the support of council and the museum board, Soundwater Museum was able to turn last year's contract position of education and programming officer into education and programming coordinator as a full-time permanent position. We entered into a partnership with Tim Hortons to sponsor our monthly programs for kids. It's been one of the relationships that has been built as a result of the education and programming coordinator. And so we look forward to continuing this partnership for this year. So we had two exhibitions from local artists last year during the summer from June to August. We had Apples and Trees by father and son duo James and Matt Dean. Our fall exhibition was Conveyed by Francis Cooper. Both saw a number of visitors, and we were happy with how many pieces of art were sold as well. So it was a great boon for the artists as well as the community. We brought back the newsletters over the past year. We sort of changed up the format a little bit, sort of with what I have experience with. And so we did a spring and fall edition, and we're looking to do another spring and fall edition for this year, and hopefully the next one is out next month. We're making steady progress on collections management. Obviously, it's a bit tricky with not having a curator for such a long length of time. And we're also continuing to work on our database transfer from the more obsolete Past Perfect to the more streamlined collective access. We've improved the Rotary Room as well with the help of Friends of Sam Waller. And the Rotary Club, we were able to acquire new chairs to replace the old ones, and people are very excited with how comfortable they are. Finally, we brought back Home Roots to the museum, and we hosted 4 concerts during the 2024-2025 season, and we're hoping to host the full 5 for next season.
There's your chance to give a little plug for the summer camp for kids. What does that entail, and how do they register?
So usually it's like it's gonna probably on a Wednesday. It'll be posted on our Facebook, so if you keep up with that. Usually we take registration by phone or email, and usually what it entailed last year was sort of a scavenger hunt and a craft activity at the museum. So it's about a 2-hour in the morning kind of activity for kids. And it's a different craft, a different scavenger hunt every time, led by the education and programming officer. So for capital projects, looking to do another Rotary Room improvement to complement the chairs. We're going to be looking at acquiring some new tables to replace the old ones that we have in there. Exhibition improvements, we're looking to target some grants to assist in the funding of acquiring new exhibit displays that we can use in the Susan McCharles Gallery, which is our temporary gallery space. We're also looking to make progress on the redesign of the interior museum, specifically looking at doing phase 1 of the project, which involves a sort of refurbishment of the Rotary Room as a whole, as well as a new bathroom setup. Excuse me.
Is there a schedule for that, Johnson?
We're still going back and forth with the grant at the moment. Probably an update next week or the week after as to what will
Thank you.
take place. We're also looking at a new fire suppression system, looking to have a new fire suppression system that is not based on water, but rather sort of the, what do they call it? The chemical agent that will suppress the fire in the event of sort of a faulty trigger on the alarm, or in the event of an actual full-scale fire, to better preserve the collection, because with the amount of natural artifacts in the collection, so like your animals and biological samples and those kinds of things, those are just completely ruined by water damage. So that's why we're looking at sort of a non-water fire suppression system. And for initiatives and challenges, so for initiatives, we're looking at a new exhibition schedule that'll happen year on year. And the main key takeaway from this new exhibition schedule is that we're looking to make one exhibit that will last from November until the end of February, and which will include year on year, which will include sort of a lot of artifacts in the collection that haven't been seen really, maybe even since they've been donated. So looking to really show something new with the collection that we have. In terms of out of season monthly programming, we're looking to add 2 more monthly events to the Tim Hortons one as well. Still working on the details of the third one, but our first sort of addition to these monthly programming events should be ready for next month. And I already touched on it, but these are summer season weekly programming. We're looking to run 8 camps this year rather than 6, so 1 a week for July and August. And then the biggest challenge obviously has been struggling to fill that curator position, but we have had a promising round of interviews recently, so we're hopeful that that changes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jensen.
Our transportation services make up 14% of the total municipal expenses and are expected to increase by 4% from 2.9 million in 2024 to just over $3 million in 2025. Of that, the airport services will be increasing by 0.6% and they make up 9% of total municipal expenses. Increases can be attributed to the annual wages as well as runway and building maintenance, while the main decrease is in the cost of fuel. Trevor, are you still with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. I'll turn it over to
Awesome.
Trevor to update for his department.
Okay, thank you, Laura, and congratulations to the town on the hockey. Very exciting times. 2024 accomplishments and highlights for the airport were 2 successful ACAP submissions. When I say successful, they haven't been approved, but they've been submitted. One was for electrical, which is going to be for about $3.6 million if approved. And the other one was for 3 pieces of equipment, which I think runs about $1.8 million. Update for that should be about July, with the rollout to be in 2026. Ground support equipment, we updated some of our equipment to support our team and also support our customers for the customer experience at the airport, such as a new Kubota tractor that helps move the baggage to and from the aircraft, move some equipment around the airport to support. And the other thing is we also did some partial painting in the air terminal building that will be completed this year. We know that the airport looks like it needs some work, and it does. It's been identified, recognized, and we will be addressing that this summer. We secured new garbage cans and recycling bins. It's a combination of both in one unit. And I think we actually were able to successfully secure some for the town as well. It's not just the airport, but for the town. So we have a little bit of a harmonized piece of equipment there. Successfully negotiated a new collective bargaining agreement with the airport staff. We also collaboratively solved the vacation overtime payment problem that was with the airport team. And the airport team continues to professionally support our customers, which includes, water bombers. And looking at the early start of this season, that's just going to continue. Moving on to the next slide, which is transportation service, which is airport. We're talking about 2025 capital. So we talked about ACAP. One thing we didn't talk about was the paving. So one of the things that we found through the airport environment, also listening to our customers, is that the paving in front of their hangar, specifically the Governor Manitoba hangar that has the water bombers in it, is starting to degrade and needs to be addressed. So that's one thing that we'll be looking at and is in the budget for this year. And then we also just highlighted the ACAP electrical and equipment. Again, the timeline for that update should be around July to be implemented in January 2026 if approved. Some of the 2025 initiatives that we have going is the airport terminal enhancements. So such things as the outside painting, new airport signage. We are looking at getting some new seating, possibly for free, from the Winnipeg Airport Authority as they do a rehabilitation of their furniture. It's still in great shape. It's just that they want a new look. So that will benefit us. Just to help us with a welcoming and comforting environment at the airport, along with improving operational and customer experience through brand image and reputation, and also representing the community and the stakeholders just by capturing some of the things that are near and dear to the community and represents everybody who uses the airport. The airfield electrical, again, why we're looking at the airfield electrical, it's going to improve safety, compliance, reliability, and operational business continuity. Year over year, we see ourselves struggling with some of the age of the infrastructure that we currently do have. The upgrade would not only improve that by being fully replaced, but it would also enhance our airport's ability to have aircraft approach during lower limits. And it also provides business continuity. Some of the other things that we're looking at is the airport's succession planning with our team and our staff out there, and increasing airport traffic. One of our struggles right now is that we have one company that owns three carriers that operate in northern Manitoba and northern Ontario. So working with them to see what other type of service we can get into the airport, and also increasing airport revenue through a market assessment of parking, maybe hangar space, some vending machines, and the fuel. I know we had the fuel about $100,000 lower than last year, but we also have an early start to the fire season, which is unfortunate for the community. We are looking at making sure we have some mitigating factors in place. We have another tanker coming up for the 4 months that the fires will be present, just to give the community and the airport a little bit of a buffer and supply chain security when it comes to having enough fuel on site to make sure our water bombers are in the air and able to fight all those fires as they continue. And that's it for the airport at this point, unless anyone has questions.
Doesn't look like it. Thank you, Trevor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so for transportation services admin expenses, those will be increasing by 9% from 319,000 in 2024 to 348,000 in 2025 due to the increase in wages for call-outs and regular annual increases. Road and sidewalk maintenance make up 3% of total municipal expenses and will be increasing by 16% from 607,000 to 702,000 in 2025. These are due to annual wage increases and cost of materials and supplies to maintain the roads, along with the equipment used to maintain those roads. Snow removal costs make up 1% of the total municipal expenses, and we will see a 20% decrease in 2025. This is due to the wages and supplies required to maintain them.
I know, I'm sure people are you gonna have some commentary on that 20% decrease in snow removal?
Yeah, so just to bring in line with the 5-year average, we came in way under budget last year. So wanted to make sure we realign the actual numbers moving forward to fit what we expected.
Okay.
So other transportation expenses include things like drainage, storm sewers, street cleaning, traffic services, and streetlights. They make up 2% of total municipal expenses and will increase by 11% from 278,000 in 2024 to 310,000 in 2025. The increases include both the cost and requirement of materials for the storm sewers and catch basins, increased repairs of equipment as we are seeing increased breakdowns, an increase in utility costs for the streetlights, and an increase in materials and wages for line painting and traffic signs. Environmental health services include garbage pickup, landfill, and recycling center costs. They make up 4% of total municipal expenses and will be increasing by 14% from 695,000 in 2024 to 791,000 in 2025. This is due to annual wage increases, increased funding to the Tricom Recycling Center, increase of repairs required for the garbage truck and landfill loader, an increase in subcontract requirements to compact the garbage at the landfill, and an increase in the landfill closure liability costs. Public health and welfare services will increase by 196,000 in 2025 as the town strives to ensure that the Lakeside Cemetery is maintained to the community's expectations. So as Councillor Hopper was saying earlier, goes from just over under $38,000 last year to just under $112,000 this year. Environmental development services will increase by 140%, and this will be for our weed control contract. Economic development services make up 1% of total municipal expenses and will increase by 25% as additional operating funds are being provided to the CDC in 2025. Our municipal superintendent will provide you with an update now for his department.
Thank you, Laura. So some of our 2024 accomplishments and highlights. Our biggest one, we'd like to thank obviously the mayor and council for really invigorating the paving and rehabilitation of our roads. We've seen a significant investment in that over the last several years. And so last year we were able to do a capital shape and pave of 2nd Street, which was between Fisher Avenue and Bell, and also Railway Avenue. So those are some highly traveled roads. So we're really excited with how those turned out. Also, we purchased a new tandem. Obviously, the tandem is very integral to our operations. It hauls gravel, it hauls materials from dig sites, it hauls snow. So having a new tandem in our fleet was really important. And sorry, maybe I should also touch, we invested 1.4 million in paving last year, and the tandem was about 240,000 plus tax, just so that maybe the public can get an appreciation for these types of investment we're making in our fleet and into our community. We also did a repair in our Vactor, which totaled around 100,000, including the rental costs. Again, the Vactor is really important in terms of our sewer repairs, sewer maintenance, storm sewer maintenance. So having a functional Vactor is incredibly important. And, you know, the public may think $100,000 investment into a piece of equipment might seem like a lot, but when a new Vactor is like 1.2 million, the 100,000 we believed as a group was an appropriate investment in our unit.
And would you say, Sam, that, you know, it's something the community has to look at in the next few years is replacing that unit altogether and with the new Vactor and how critical that is for the equipment?
Yeah, I think we have to definitely put it on the radar as part of our equipment replacement program. It is a huge hit to take at once. I know mayor and council have been discussing different approaches to maybe lessen that blow to the community through maybe a levy or different ways to approach it.
Debenture. Or debenture.
Release it. I think those are very good options that I think we should keep every option on the table for that. We also did a SCADA system upgrade at our water treatment plant. And before Councillor Allen asked me, I wrote it down: supervisory control and data acquisition. Because I forgot last time you asked me that question last year. So that's basically the brain of the water plant. So that controls all the components, make sure everything sort of works together. Our operators work really hard, and what the public may not see is sometimes in the evenings there's emergencies going on. So while we're all fast asleep, they're stressing out at the water plant. So having these components working together and doing what they should takes a load off their back and mine as well in that sense. Also downtown weed control, another thing, I mean, we've heard it tonight many times. Mayor and council have made a commitment to community improvement, community beautification, taking pride in our community. So for how we present the downtown with the weed control program is very important. So it wasn't only in the downtown, we also did a few parks last year, and we look forward to doing more of that in the coming years as well. So our 2025 capital projects, again, mayor and council have committed $1.5 million to paving. The areas we've selected is St. Godard and Campbell. So it's between Cathedral to St. Godard down that stretch. It's quite in bad shape and a highly traveled route. And the really important one of the important parts of the paving program is also going to be paving the Wellness Center parking lot. That the Wellness Center is like a very integral piece of our community and something that we should be very proud of. And it just felt like, I think Mayor Council said, it just felt like it just wasn't completed, right? We got about 90% of the way, we sort of stopped. And so having that completed so that in the winter, when we have people come into the wellness center, there's a lot of pickleballers out there, and so having that parking lot paved and safe to travel on in the all year is really important. So that will also not only include the paving of that parking lot, but also some landscaping in the back. Again, Mayor and Council made a commitment to, again, beautification, making those spaces more inviting for people to want to come and actually spend some time.
You know, there was money in the budget last year for the parking lot, but I understand the contractor had to leave town, so it didn't get completed.
Correct, yeah, we were trying to get it done last year, unfortunately, like you said, the contractor went away, so it was a carryover from last year's project. Another thing, so if we were to do a chart about the sort of larger complaints we hear, obviously the roads is one of them, so council's made a huge investment in that. The back lanes is another one that we hear a lot about. So one of the things that we did that council wanted to move forward with was the purchase of a skid steer and a Harley rake. So the Harley rake basically gets dragged behind the skid steer and it sort of rejuvenates the gravel in the back lane. So our plan is to get that out into the back lanes. We've actually started a few quietly to practice. We haven't promoted it too much because I would like to share a better finished product. So the operators are sort of working through it as we speak. And then we'll send the roller packer behind it to give it a good packing. So we've already sort of started the early process of that, and I hope to report back in the coming weeks with some positive news on that. And then again, for the public to understand, that is a $125,000 investment for the skid steer and the Harley rake, and with some additional attachments that will definitely help our department be more effective. Another really important capital project, again, community safety is paramount. And I think council felt that it's about time that we implemented the reduced speed school zone and those signages that go with it. So right now, our last step is some applications to the province to get approved. But our plan is good. Our locations of our signages we feel comfortable with. So we will hopefully undertake that this summer when school is out.
And just for people to understand, that budget is like $65,000 to do signs, so it's not as simple as just putting up a post. It's a significant investment in the community.
Yeah, good point, yeah. There's just a couple of projects I wrote down because I thought maybe it would be under the recreation department. The pool dehumidifier. We just did a site visit with some contractors last week, a mandatory site visit for the project. We're in the process of the tender will be closed in the coming weeks, and we would like to undertake that project this summer. We're anticipating it to be around $1 million. We'll see kind of where the prices come in. We had some good feedback at the site meeting. And again, this is about protecting our existing asset to extend its longevity to make sure we take care of the pool. There was a time where we were probably the only pool in northern Manitoba. So this is just to ensure that we keep this pool functioning and safe for our residents. Another one that's not on here that I kind of touch on our initiatives, but so when we say the water plant reassessment, that's a required legal thing that we have to do for the province. But as part of that, Mayor and Council wanted to ensure that we're ready for business, that we're open for new development of any kind. So we've undertaken a water modeling project with that to ensure that we know exactly what we can develop, where we can develop, what our capacities are, what our capacities aren't. And therefore having that information will help us move forward in terms of making plans to either expand our capacity or figure out what we need to do to achieve our future growth initiatives. Some initiatives and challenges. We're going to undertake an assessment of Bagshaw Place / Crescent, Reader Street, Traeger Drive, and Lamb Crescent. These are obviously areas of road conditions being not great, and we're working with Mr. Reagan on coming up with a plan to move forward those assessments this summer so that they're ready for 2026 capital, obviously depending on costs. Also, so it says here, assessing the potential landfill expansion, waste collection revamp. So we've been lucky enough to receive a $4.2 million grant from Manitoba GRO. There'll be a press release coming at the beginning of next week about this for the public. And what this grant is for is to cover a portion of the costs of expanding our existing landfill. Now the cost of doing so is significantly more than 4.2 million. So at this time, We are exploring other grants, so we're not trying to, get ahead of ourselves. So we're going to do some preliminary design work to look at that. And also, there's been some good ideas brought forward about revamping our entire garbage collection system as a whole as part of this project. So more information to come during the press release for the public, but we're really excited and really proud of getting that grant. Then I talked about the water modeling assessment to assess our capacity and future expansion, which I've already touched about. Retrieving the back lane. So again, that's talking about the Harding Reek and the skid steer. We're really excited to put that to work, and hopefully the public sees the hard work that's going into that, and obviously improving the school zones. There's be some legwork to get that ready to go. Provincial submittal to come.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Okay, fiscal service expenses will increase by 394% from 1.5 million to 5.8 million. This increase is mainly due to the capital programs that are being covered by the grants. And again, full capital can be seen on page 13 of the financial plan. There's just over $10 million in capital projects slated for 2025, with financing coming from grants, taxes, and reserve funds. Reserves account for $2.6 million. Taxation accounts for $538,000, and grants and donations account for $5.8 million. Over the last 10 years, the town of Paw has invested just over $48 million in capital projects for our community. We've seen some significant increases in 2022, and that was for our lagoon expansion. Meanwhile, contributions to reserve have not kept pace with capital replacements. So currently, annual reserve contributions make up 11% of total municipal expenses, and we'll see a 1% decrease in 2025. This is due to the decrease in interest rates that these accounts earn. So the actual contribution coming from council is not decreased at all. It's just due to the interest that the accounts earn. Debentures have an outline here, and you'll see that there'll be no changes in 2024. There's 2 debentures that will be ending in 2025. Utility service revenues will be increasing by 27% from 2.9 million to 3.7 million in 2025. These increases can be attributed to the public utility board's approved rate increases. So effective April 1st of 2025, the Public Utility Board approved the following rates for the next 3 years. These rates are lower than the originally proposed ones by the town for the rate application that we submitted in 2023. Based on the new rates, we've provided a rough estimate of what the approximate increase should look like on a quarterly basis over the next 3 years. Our utility service costs will be increasing by 2% or $58,500 for 2025. And though it appears we're only experiencing a small increase, we'll be experiencing a large decrease in our transfers to the reserve accounts, as the Public Utilities Board order is limiting the amounts that we're going to be allowed to transfer over the next 3 years. This is because the utility fund is ran in a deficit for several years, and the board is requiring the town to make up those funds. I'd also like to note that the utility fund is 100% funded through water rates and not taxation. So water service expenses include purification and treatment, transmission and distribution, and administrative costs to supply water to the town. Increases include cost of insurance, annual wage increases, along with increased wages for emergency callouts, the replacement of 25 meters, increased chemical costs, increase in repairs, equipment repairs, and maintenance as breakdowns have become more frequent. Sewer service expenses are $455,000, which is a 3% increase over 2024. And this can be attributed to annual wage increases along with the additional hydro costs for the lagoon. Our sewer services include sewage collection, treatment and disposal, along with maintenance of lift stations. Deficit recovery and reserve transfers have decreased by 52%, again due to the reduction of transfers to the reserves as outlined under the new Public Utility Board order. And that is the end. Any questions? Comments, concerns?
I guess we'll ask, I don't know if council has any questions, but any questions from the community? If you have any outbursts, comments, everything's good. Seen what you've seen. Again, all this information for people online, this is all uploaded online as well, all the presentations. I encourage you, if you do have questions, and you see something, to reach out to the administration by calling the office during work hours. 627-1100. Don't rely on certain social platforms to get your advice. Oh, did you have something? Sorry.
If there's any attention ever given to senior housing in the fall. Sure.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that that's part of the discussions with regards to the Community Development Corporation, and I also understand that there is initiative going on with regards to trying to get senior housing. So there's a co-op program that a group is organizing and is trying to move that forward. What I can tell is that we've heard that story: senior housing, affordable housing, they're all different housing. And we continue to have discussions with our provincial leaders to look for opportunities to create that in our community. That's one of the things we talked about this year. You'll see with coming for some groups is we want to be ready for development and not have to do a bunch of stuff when the development opportunity is there. So, you know, if there's an area that is potentially targeted for senior housing or multiple unit housing or hotel or whatever it happens to be, that has to be ready to be going, and investment has to be made now. And when you look at things that our public works people, Sam, are doing about ensuring that we understand what services we can provide with regards to utilities, and then for us to sorry, I lost my train of thought on that. So our service utilities is one thing, and getting that in place.
I can add to Mayor Murphy's comment that Cedar Lake Community Futures has spearheaded, and they have just appointed board members. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
So 6 months ago, there's two ladies that came up to the Golden Agers, and you were there also, and they were going to work on a report.
Oh, that's you are like perfect timing. We just had the presentation of the report yesterday, and council actually hasn't seen it as of yet. What they're doing right now with that report from the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan is they've met with that steering committee, and they're creating actions from that. So I sat through it yesterday as well. Odds I can say is stay tuned. Within the next month or so, you'll see the outcomes of that. We've had the investment in the community, not only financially through the provincial government who paid for this work that's being done on the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan, but there was also a lot of sweat equity put into this by multiple community members who've been volunteering over the last year to move this report ahead. So stay tuned, Mrs. Kelly.
Call me Diane.
Yeah. Well, I was watching Ken there. I just wanted to make sure.
And I have another question.
Yeah.
I know that we had another meeting and we weren't here about the different churches. And I'm just wondering what's happening there for the taxes to the churches.
It's under review. And stay tuned. Before we do anything, we will have the same sort of presentation and process. That's what we've committed to. But at this time, it's still under review. There's no change to the way it is today. Anybody else? Well, thank you again for attending. Thanks to our staff for putting in all the work. Like we say, if you have a question or concerns, please make sure you call the municipal office. They can answer, the best people to answer any questions that you have going forward. That would be it. So moving on, because we're in the same meeting, we will go to the first reading of the bylaw.
Resolution number 2025-079, moved by Councillor Manich, second by Councillor Hopper. Resolved that council approves the 2025 financial plan as presented, and that bylaw number 4660 being a bylaw for the town of Paw to impose and levy property taxes for the town of Paw for the 2025 fiscal year be read a first time.
Any questions, comments?
Just back to the staff again. Great job. All the staff that went through this project process was trying at times, but I think at the end of the day, we came to what we wanted to do. Fair taxation, no increase, and significant investment into the community in all areas.
Good, so seeing no further comments or questions, call the question, all in favor? You're voting.
And I do want to just add that I'm very happy to not see an increase in taxes. I'm very excited by that. It's a good thing. But unfortunately, you can't pick and choose parts of a budget. So it's all or nothing. No disrespect to the staff's work that is going into it for sure.
Good, okay, motion's carried. Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Yeah. Good, thank you. Have a good night. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your advocacy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trevor. Thanks, Joe.